amaxesha amaninzi kuyafuneka nikrwexane ngeli xesha nisenza kakuhle. Ningakrwexani xa kusenzeka izinto kakubi ngongathi ningabantu abazi-fault finders. If you make your own observation of basic education in the country in general and also in the province in particular, we have invited a plethora of insults because the basic education now is on the ascendancy in the province, almost on everything. Whether you talk academic progression, we're coming okay. Whether you talk the development of the kids in the context of sport, music, we are okay. We have got national champs here. In fact, 6 players of the women's national team are coming from this province. So whether we approach her from which angle, the ascendancy of the province in various fields is going to put more pressure on you. Hence I'm then saying, how do we then become shock absorbers? To absorb that pressure and be focused more on the immediate tasks that are before us. We have a history, SG, of being strategic thinkers in the country. Once you speak of policy evolution in education, and we have mastered the art and skill of that, the question now that we must be able to deal with it is how do we then master the art and skill of executing what we have agreed on. We have theorized so much. Ngokufuneka sijonge into yoba ingaba siyakwazi na ukwakha unxulumano phakathi kweprocess yokuthathwa kwezigqibo neprocess yokumiliselwa kwezigqibo. Because taking a decision and implementing a decision, those are two different things. Those are two different things. You need a courage at times to even take a particular decision because it is going to have either negative or positive spin-off, not to all of us. Kwenye indawo besikuyo ndithe xa bendicacisa le nto ndathi the sooner senze i-alignment ekhawulezileyo, you understand kuqala le document, you understand the contents on it. Why do we have a three-streamed model in the first place? Ingabi alignment ye-subject zethu, does it speaks to the three-streamed model that we have adopted? Ingaba i-subject choices esizithathayo ezikolweni does speaks to the three-streamed model that we have adopted? If no, then it means there is a problem. Because bazawupasa abantwana because utitshala ba-passionate, ba-dedicated, ba-committed, bayabatisha. But I can assure you, we are going to increase the number of unemployed. Now, ithetha ukuthi ke ngokuloo nto, as we plan along for the next academic years, there is a need of an aggressive career path and curriculum diversification in the province. There is a need so that kungafundwa nje okanye kuba utitshala okhoyo ngowe-English okanye ngowe-languages, then kubekho i-dominance of subjects on the basis of the availability of the human resource that we have. Ngandixabanisa nabanye abantu le nto ndiyithethayo. Uyabona, ufuna uyibona le nto siyithethayo apha, tatumtshiti, uziphe nje 2 days ungene kwezi FET colleges zonke uzayibona le ngxaki ndiyithethayo. You can't have TVET colleges that all of them, 70% of the students are doing public administration. Why do we have TVET colleges? Why do we have TVET colleges if all of these kids are going to do public administration? Why do we have them in the first place? Because by design, TVET colleges are meant for vocational skills. Now, if now in a population yabantwana abathathela candelo bazomanage abaniphi. So I'm saying, let's debate about getting deeper on the content of basic education in the province is a bit a serious one. And there is no precious time of engaging on this one than this time now. So that we understand each other that as they pass grade 12, as they graduate and go to tertiary institution, at least there is clarity of a career path that can be able to respond to the immediate task that they have. Otherwise, sizaba nengxaki very soon. Ngoku bapasile abantwana still sizaba nengxaki. Again, just to elaborate on this question, kwiminyaka nje emibini egqithileyo, i-research isinika i-report yento yokuba apha eprovinsini enye ye-gateways zethu zokunqanda indlala is cannabis. Ngamanye amagama intsangu. Sithethe le language nizoyi-understand. Obunye ubutyebi balapha eprovinsini intsangu. Do you know what happened immediately kusenzeka laa nto? Clever blacks somewhere picked up that in the next 50 years to come, the country is going to be dependent on cannabis and oceans economy. Now, bafuna usilecturisha ngentsangu ngobangayaziyo noba isuka phi kweliphicana. They must lecture us. They must lecture us in saying, no, ndingayityala le ntsangu apha eBarberton. Ndingayityala le ntsangu apha eGauteng South. Now, I'm saying, when you have got indicators that are directing the country in terms of the development, you need then to go back to the strategic planning and say, what then becomes the content in the theater of ideas, which is the classroom? Intoni litishwayo apha ngaphakathi? I-aligned na kule national development plan okanye kule provincial development plan. If not, what are the implications? If it is not aligned, what are the implications? Ndizake nalo ngxoxo apha kuni kuba ndiyabona into yokuba sonke ngoku sisemdleni wokuliphucula iphondo lethu. And loo nto nikwazile uyenza for 2 successive years. We never expected you in 2020 to perform the manner you performed. You surprised everybody. It was worse last year. The reason I'm saying, don't shoot yourself down. I-performance yenu yalonyaka kupheleyo yothuse wonke umuntu, because benidilishana nabantwana bane-content gap ngenxa ye-COVID. but you were able to be where you are, albeit the challenges that you have. Okwesibini, SG. Uyayazi ba uba besingakhanga siphoqa ngaba abantwana base Port St. John's would be number 5 or number 4 last year. Look at the statistics of abantwana babanjelwe results base Port St. John's naba baseMthatha kula high school ipha eMthatha. Then you compare the percentage of the two provinces before us. Uzafika eMpumalanga ishiya ngento epha ku 0.2%. Then ephambi kwayo isishiye ngo 1%. Now go and calculate la number yaba bantwana babanjelwe results base Port St. John's as high schools besikopile. Then you then tell me that you didn't do your work. You excellently did it. And akho umuntu uzoyithetha lonto ngaphambi ithethwe esithi apha kuni that you did it. You did it. So hence I'm saying what we needed to do is to ensure that we are more focused. More focused, put all other differences aside and say, how do we save the kids of the Eastern Cape? Because the problem ozobanayo asinayo enye into apha thina eMpuma Koloni ngaphandle ngoba nengqondo. We don't have gold, we don't have silver, what we have is brains here. What we have is brains. On that one we can say anyway. What we have are brains here. So what we needed to do is to maximize the potential we have and ensure that the generations to come find this province intact. If in the generations to come they find this province intact. Sometimes I get worried, SG, nakan bukele aba cutting edge. Kuba sine challenge infrastructure in the main. Ubukele kuvezwe isikolo eziwayo, kukhutshwe ne-toilet ezibolileyo, yonke lonto. Ingxaki of a backlog of infrastructure that is unattended. Postpone the debate on the pedagogy on education. Ingxaki yobane pending issues as peripheral, they postpone the content on education, on whether this education is right or wrong. So that's why I'm saying we must pull up our socks, all of us, make sure that we fix the puzzle. Let's fix the puzzle. If snengaki infrastructure, let's fix it. If snengaki ne governance, let's fix it so that we arrive where we are supposed to be. So the fikelele kule ndawo sifanele ba sikuyo in terms of what should be the strategic point of the department. Esbini into that I just wanted to lift with you so that we can have a better understanding and an appreciation of it. If there is anything that we must find a way to deal with it, is the conduct of learners and the conduct of us as public servants. Unyanisile ushubi apha. Akho nto frustrate ngathi kukuba lichule lo signer or dismissal babantwana babantu. Because the problem, Mr. Mnguni, beyond an MEC is a human being. So, lento yobu MEC sidibene nayo pha hiking sport. Originally suke singabantu basemakhaya. So you can't then ube ngumuntu ohleli nje ukhangelana nobana abantu ngabagxotha kanjani. So iyafuneka ke ngokulento bana khe siqoqoshane into ba as suspensions and dismissals in particular ko principal, how do we reduce this thing? How do we deal with this thing? Because in a negative impact in the context of the QLTC implementation that we agreed on. So I'm then saying, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how painful it is to be an educator today, no matter how strenuous it is for being an educator today, but let's respond to the pieces of legislations so that we don't become victims. So that we don't become victims, because ultimately you are going to be tested against the scientific view that has been tested through a particular process. Bazawuthi hayi siyayiva le nto ithethayo kodwa umthetho uthi. Ewe siyayiva abantwana batshaya intsangu kodwa umthetho uthi. Siyayiva into yokubana hayi aba bantwana bareyiphe omnye umntana aba baseMaralow eQueenstown kodwa umthetho uthi. Because udilishana nengxaki ye-society that has no fiber. Laa mzali wala mntana wala makhwenkwe aseMaralow areyiphe laa mntana ngawo oqala ngokusixelela nge-right to learn. Ngawo oqala ngosixelela nge-right to education. As if laa mntana wala mama okanye wala tata intombazana ureyitshwe ngala makhwenkwe kwesi sikolo akanayo wona i-right to learn. So I'm saying that's how complex sometimes matters as officials ezidilishana nazo out of the erosion of the moral fiber in the society. Sikhwele enqanaweni apha engena campus. Sikhwele enqanaweni apha engena campus. So kuyafuneka ke ngoku into yobana usikhandelela indlela into yokuba usikhandelela indlela into yobana siza kwenza kanjani ke ngoku uqiniseka into yoba yona i-destination le sizofika kuyo. Sizofika kuyo yona i-destination. And unfortunately apha endleleni ebheka kule destination sizohuzulana. So I'm saying it's going to be important to note that. So that's why it is always important yoba sicengane kulento yokufunda nokufundisa. Kunjanje singacengani nje kuphela SG. Siphinde sicengane nangalento ine-monitoring of it. But you can go to a teacher or a school. That does not guarantee that learning has happened. You can move from a staff room to a class. That does not guarantee that learning has happened. You can present a lesson plan to kids. That does not scientifically prove that learning has happened. So that's why kufuneka ke ngoku sincedisane on how to deal with this complex animal. How to deal with this complex animal. Because usengaya eklasini kanti abantwana bafundanga. Basengakhona abantwana utitshe kanti learning has not happened. Teaching is not equivalent to learning, and learning is not equivalent to teaching. Those are two different things. Under the current environment, where abantwana becinga babayazi nangaphezu kwethu ingakhe ingaqhubeki ngendlela icinga ngayo laa nto. Ube disappointed sometimes. So I'm then saying it's going to be important that we don't throw amanzi ebhafu nomntana. Sithatha umntana simbeke ecaleni sichitha amanzi wodwa. Sijonge into yobana then how do we then respond on those things? But there are these following threats endithi ke masike sizijonge ke ngokuzona ba sizibeka njani na ecaleni. I-level ye-sexual abuse ngoku is becoming prevalent in the province. Whether it's learner versus a learner, or a teacher versus a teacher, or a teacher versus a learner. But rating abuses, sexual harassment is becoming a thorn in the flesh. Look, centralization of procurement is a national decision. And centralization of procurement was taken on the basis of trying to liberate small institutions from tax. Once you centralize procurement in schools, you have turned them into procurement centers. And once you do that, forget about the pedagogy in education. Think about how much I'm going to get. Ingxaki yalanto zawubanjwa zonke ezi principals gcwaliselona. I bet my last cent. Awuzuthi uqaqwe ngomasipala as we speak ngenxa ye-performance, ngenxa yalento sithetha ngayo ngoku, they tend to be procurement centers, and now everybody is busy saying, how did this tender goes to who? And in the process, we lost the sight of what must be done. Those are the implications, Kulento. Wena ungayijonga nje into yobana hayi le mali xa siyinikiwe sizawuzithengela ezincwadi. The silent phenomenon into yobana ukhona uclever okufuneka kuthengwe kuye ezincwadi. Ukhona uclever ocinga uba fama funeka kuthengwe kuye ezincwadi. Mandinihlebele enye into ebeningayazi. Jonga irate, jonga SG. Jonga irate SG yabantu who's got business interest, who wants to be SGB members in nowadays. Jonga irate yabantu who wants to be SGB members today. Usokujika lupha kume ofisini uxabana nomnye uceba apha 5 months back. Urani isikolo engiceba awugqiba ukwenza loo nto abuye ezocontestela ube-SGB chairpersonship. Disrupting, quickly intervene there. Capture it because apha uzoba ne-decisions esikolo ezisuka elsewhere outside of the sector itself, and arrogantly so, because lo mntu uzawuphela ebeka i-SMT esigcakeni against the public. Ube ngabiza intlanganiso singahlali wena ungprincipal ngenxa yalo mntu. Uba ngathi isikolo masibheke ngapha, ithi ilali masibheke ngapha. So I'm saying, that's how sophisticated the policy environment is. So kufuneka ukwazi uyibona into igqunyiwe ngenapkeni. Kuba lento yangafaka kocingo ezikolweni wena SG yile izele ukubulawa kwabanye otishana ngama-boyfriend wabo apha ezikolweni. Fika isibhofubhofu somntu sidubula umuntu esikolweni sakugqiba siphume siyapha. Sine-cases ezinjalo apha eMpuma Koloni. Umntana abantu uphume kwabo ezophangela, ubuya ngoku enegama elitsha uba ngu-deceased. So I'm saying, it goes a long way, lendo ye security in schools, how to ensure that learners are safe, how to ensure that also teachers are safe in the institutions of learning. But there is a bigger part here. There is nothing called safe school in an unsafe community. You can attempt as much as you want. The key question is, where is the school? Who are residing along that school? What is the social pattern of behavior and conduct of those that are around that school? Because safe communities must give you safe environment, and safe environment must then institutionalized in institutions that we have so that you can have safe schools.